Hello everyone, I am Sumbul Nakhui. Today I will be talking about AWS Global Network and around 25 networking concepts. Yes, you heard it right, 25. I will try to clear the doubt and explain networking concepts that will help all preparing for different AWS certifications as well as all cloud enthusiasts have strong foundation in most easy and fun way. We will be talking about regions, AZs, points of presence, NAT gateway, security group, NACL, ENIs, VPN gateway, direct connect, VPC peering, NACL, Route 53, transit gateway, and much more. So let's get started. So the very first concept is that of region. AWS has the concept of region, which is a physical location around the world where we cluster data centers. In other words, region is a geographical area that contains AWS resources. Next, we have AZs or availability zones, which is a group of logical data center. Each AWS region consists of minimum three isolated and physically separate AZ within a geographical area. Each AZ has independent power, cooling, physical security, and is connected via redundant ultra-low network. Thus, with the help of region, each with multiple AZs and around 600 plus point of presence, which consist of your edge locations and regional edge cache, where each locations consist of your frequently accessed data and regional edge cache contains your less frequently accessed data. AWS provides a global network. Coming to VPC, VPC is your private network in AWS cloud. A VPC will always belong to a region. In other words, VPC is your private space in AWS, which allows you to define your private IP ranges for your AWS resources, and you can place things like your EC2 instance, Elastic Load Balancer inside your VPC. Coming to subnets, VPC is logically divided into subnets. So subnets are nothing but chunk of IP addresses in your VPC that allows you to group resources. These subnets can be either public or private. When I say public means it is connected to internet and has a public IP address. When I say private, I mean it is private to your VPC and they don't have a public IP address. Look at this diagram. If we look at this diagram, then we can clearly see that a VPC is spanning across two AZs, but it is a part of a single region. जैसे कि अब राइट नाउ आई एम बेस्ड इन मुंबई एंड वी लिव इन हाउसिंग सोसाइटी. तो यहाँ पे भी आई कैन से कि मेरा जो वीपीसी है वो मेरा हाउसिंग सोसाइटी है. अब हमारे हाउसिंग सोसाइटी के अंदर एक से ज़्यादा टार्स होंगे, दैट इज मोर देन वन एजीज होंगे. हर एजी के अंदर डिफरेंट फ्लैट्स होंगे. तो जो हमारे जो सबनेट्स हैं दे आर जस्ट लाइक आर फ्लैट्स. Coming to the flats, again there will be part of the flat जो कि हमारा publicly accessible होगा, where my friends can come in just like my public drawing room. Then there will be a part of my house which will be private to me. That is like, for instance, my storeroom where I will be keeping the stuff which I don't want to be visible or accessible. Next, we will be talking about route table. Route table has routes or path for network packets. If you look closely, we have a main route table where target is local and destination is nothing but the IP address range of your VPC. Then we have custom route tables which are associated with different subnets. The one that is associated with your public subnet containing EC2 instance has a path or target as internet gateway, whereas the one which is the private subnet route table has no way to reach the internet. So IGW or internet gateway provides communication between your public subnet and internet. It allows traffic from your public internet to flow in and out of your VPC. Thus, internet gateway is just like your doorway that is open to public. सिंस पब्लिक सबनेट को बाहर इंटरनेट को एक्सेस करना है, इसीलिए पब्लिक सबनेट की के साथ जो हमने राउट टेबल को एसोसिएट किया है, इट हैज़ एन एंट्री फॉर इंटरनेट गेटवे. Coming to NAT gateway. So NAT gateway connects your private subnet to internet. It is placed in your public subnet. अब बात ये आती है कि चलो पब्लिक सबनेट को तो इंटरनेट गेटवे के थ्रू से वो कनेक्ट कर लेगा, लेकिन अगर प्राइवेट सबनेट को बाहर कुछ एक्सेस करना है तो वो कैसे करेगा? फॉर दैट वी हैव नैट गेटवे. Next, we have a concept of Bastion server or Bastion hosts. They are commonly used in scenarios where secure remote access is required. Having a Bastion host in place is a useful way to allow employees access your internal services that you do not want to expose publicly or to your cloud services. If you notice or look closely over here, there is an addition in the route table. The route table that was associated with the public subnet is the same with the internet gateway, but the one that is associated with your private subnet, it has an entry for NAT gateway. That is, if the instances in the private subnet wants to access the internet, they can go via NAT gateway. Coming to packet, as we have already seen, packets are unit of data sent over the internet. Nothing special about it. Coming to network ACLs or access control list, they are a set of rules that control what traffic is allowed to access the network. They work at subnet level and they are stateless. By saying so, I mean network ACLs are virtual firewall that controls inbound and outbound traffic at subnet level, and they remember nothing, and thus you need to check for packet as they crosses the subnet border each way, that is inbound and outbound. Coming to security groups, they work at instance level and they are stateful. That is, security group performs stateful packet filtering. They remember the previous decision made for the incoming packet, and when a packet response for that request return to the instance, the security group remembers, अच्छा ये वही है जो गया था, and it will let the packet go regardless of the response. Next, we will talk about Route 53. Have you ever wondered what happens when you enter a website address in your browser and hit enter to open a site? So here Route 53 comes into action. Route 53 is AWS Domain Name Service or DNS, which translates website name into IP or Internet Protocol addresses that computer can understand. Hence, when you enter a website address in your browser, it contacts Route 53 to obtain the IP address of the site, then routes your browser to that address. Coming to ENI or Elastic Network Interface, it is a virtual network interface card that can be attached to an EC2 instances in a VPC. In other words, ENIs are your virtual network cards attached to EC2 instances that help facilitate network connectivity for instances. Just like you have NIC in your computer, network interface card in your computer, similarly we have ENI. So ENI is your basic network interface card. Just like your ENI, we have two more options. One is your ENA, other one is your EFA, where ENA uses a single root IO virtualization to provide high performance networking capabilities, and EFA accelerate high performance computing, that is your HPC and machine learning applications. Coming to the next concept, that is of VPC peering. As you can see from the diagram, VPC peering connects two VPC in a private network connection. In VPC peering connection, networking connection between two VPC enables them to route traffic using private IPv4 addressing or IPv6 addressing. Instances in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they were within the same network. Next, two very important concepts that we'll be covering is one is your direct connect, other one is your site-to-site VPN. When we talk of direct connect, it is a dedicated physical connection between your on-premises network and your VPC. So it connects an on-premises location to your VPC with a dedicated network, which is a physical network. Whereas site-to-site VPN connects your on-premises location to VPC with the help of internet. So if you look into this diagram, over here we have an on-premises resources over here. So there are two type of connection. The top one is your direct connect, which is connecting your on-premises to your VPC, and the bottom one is your site-to-site VPN, which is again connect your on-premises to your VPN. With the difference that direct connect is your physical connection, whereas site-to-site uses internet. Another thing that you will notice in the diagram is the site-to-site VPN. On the left side of it, we have something known as VPN gateway, and on the right side, we have something called customer gateway. So, VPN gateway or virtual private gateway is the AWS side of your site-to-site VPN, and customer gateway is your customer side of your site-to-site VPN. Let's take a pause over here and look into this diagram once more. तो वी हैव ऑलरेडी टॉक्ड और वीपीसी हमारा क्या था? वीपीसी हमारी सोसाइटी थी जिसके अंदर हमारे डिफरेंट फ्लैट्स थे जो कि किसी न किसी टावर या किसी न किसी एजी का पार्ट थे। यहाँ पे जो हमारे पब्लिक सबनेट्स थे या जो पब्लिक फ्लैट्स थे उनके जो रिसोर्सेज थे दे वर एबल टू एक्सेस द इंटरनेट वाया इंटरनेट गेटवे। जो हमारे प्राइवेट सबनेट के पार्ट थे दे वर नॉट एबल टू एक्सेस द इंटरनेट डायरेक्टली एंड दे वर अनएक्सेसिबल फ्रॉम द इंटरनेट टू, तो दे वर यूजिंग समथिंग कॉल्ड नैट गेटवे। तो वी कैन सी दैट अ प्राइवेट सबनेट इज reaching out to internet via NAT gateway. Then we talked about our connection between our on-premises resources and our VPC. The first one is our direct connect connection, which is a physical connection, and the other one is your site-to-site VPN. So site-to-site VPN creates an encrypted network path between your on-premises network and your AWS cloud. This connection uses internet. On the left side, as you can see in the diagram of site-to-site VPN, we have VPN gateway. And on the right side, that is towards the on-premises side, we have customer gateway. So virtual private gateway is the AWS side of site-to-site VPN, and customer gateway is the customer side of AWS site-to-site VPN. Next very important concept is the concept of VPC endpoint. So what are VPC endpoints? They are your private link that allows you to connect AWS services using private network instead of using public internet. Thus they remove the need of internet gateway, NAT gateway to access AWS services. We have two type of VPC endpoints. First one is your VPC gateway endpoint, which provides a reliable connectivity to Amazon S3 and DynamoDB without requiring an internet gateway or NAT devices for your VPC. The second one is your VPC interface endpoint. It is a collection of one or more elastic network interfaces, that is your ENIs, that we talked of, with private IP addresses that serve as an entry point for traffic destined to a supported device. Thus, we can say if we want to go for Amazon S3 or DynamoDB, we can go with VPC endpoint, and for rest of the services, we have VPC interface endpoint. If we look into the diagram, we can clearly see we have EC2 instances via VPC endpoint, which is your interface endpoint. We are able to connect to AWS resource, that is your SNS or simple notification service. On the other hand, with the help of VPC gateway endpoint, we are able to connect with only S3, Amazon S3 or Amazon DynamoDB. Finally, coming to our last concept, that is the 25th concept of this series, we will be talking about transit gateway. Transit gateway are meant for having transitive peering connection between thousands of VPC and on-premises using hub and spoke, that is a star connection. It works with direct connect gateway and your VPN connections. Before we end, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and do share if you found it useful. I am sure in future, the moment you will come across these networking terms, you will have a better understanding.
The moment you will hear the word VPC, you will say, VPC is nothing but your virtual private cloud. And Subnet is a section of VPC that contains resources such as your EC2 instances. Internet gateway क्या है? Internet gateway is attached to allow public traffic from internet to access your VPC. एजीज क्या होते हैं? एजी एक रीजन का पार्ट होते हैं. हर एजी किसी ना किसी रीजन को बिलोंग करेगा. हमारा वीपीसी जो होता है वो भी एक किसी ना किसी रीजन के अंदर होता है. वीपीसी कैन स्पैन अक्रॉस एजी बट नॉट अक्रॉस रीजन. अगेन इफ यू विल कम टू हियर द वर्ड साइट टू साइट वीपीएन, तो यू विल से हाँ साइट टू साइट वीपीएन. साइट टू साइट वीपीएन कुछ नहीं करता है, वो हमारे वीपीसी को हमारे ऑन प्रेमाइसेस से कनेक्ट करता है. साइट टू साइट वीपीएन में जो कस्टमर साइट का हिस्सा होता है गेटवे, उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं कस्टमर. जो हमारा AWS और VPC साइट का गेटवे होता है उसको हम लोग बोलते हैं कि VPN गेटवे. एंड क्या होते हैं कि दे आर लाइक योर प्राइवेट लिंक. डेडिकेटेड कनेक्शन क्या होता है? इट इज अ फिजिकल कनेक्शन from your on-premises to your VPC. Similarly, the other concept like your transit gateway, VPC के peering या Route 53 का purpose क्या था? You will be able to understand and answer these terms in a much better way. Thank you for being a part of and staying till now. Thank you.